This is the story of Ali, Maiga, Malik, Moussa and Saidou. We're in Berlin. The 5 young men call themselves Kukula. That means taking care of each other in the Hausa language. Trying to escape armed conflicts and misery, they left Mali and Niger. In 2011, they crossed the Mediterranean and entered Europe at the Italian island of Lampedusa. They eventually made their way to Berlin, where they had high hopes of getting residence and work permits, hopes that were soon shattered. Amid broken dreams, they wasted years of their lives, jobless and homeless. But now Kukula have new prospects with the launch of an inspired refugee startup. They make furniture, but these are no ordinary chairs. They're made from wood salvaged from the wrecks of migrant ships.
This chair is my story. Because I passed through Lampedusa, and this wood here, that's wood from Lampedusa. That's my story.
Those shipwrecks are the silent witnesses of a major human tragedy. Thousands of refugees drown in the Mediterranean every year, turning the sea into a mass grave. Here at Lampedusa, supporters of Kukula collect shipwreck wood for the startup. In Berlin, Ali and his friends build this wood into their chairs as symbols of the migrants' tragedy. The Kukula project, backed by civil associations, aims to give the migrants new hope.
There were 350 people on my boat. We took the boat to come here. I still think about those who fell into the water. I saw a child with his mother. We couldn't save them. A little baby, 1 year old. In that boat, you couldn't save them.
A journey through despair and death. Schubert's Winter's Travel has a special resonance for the 5 friends. Among their projects, they've been enlisted to create the stage set for a performance of the German composer's solemn music. A harsh reality quickly replaces the dreams of illegal immigrants arriving in Europe. Hardship, solitude, misery, and quite often homelessness. On top of that, they face rising xenophobia. But Maiga and Saidou make it clear they had no choice.
I saw a lot of terrible things crossing the Sahara. I saw people die. I saw it with my own eyes. I didn't know how to help them. I was myself almost dead. It was terrible.
It was, above all, very dangerous because there was a war in Mali. That's why I left. There was nothing. It was too difficult for us to stay in that region. There was war everywhere in Timbuktu, Gao Kidal, war all around.
Later on in Libya, Gaddafi's military men forced us onto these overcrowded boats. We were 300 people on a small boat. Gaddafi's men pushed us to an unknown destination. We set out to nowhere.
Hier?
Ja.
Seid.
Maiga.
The Europeans tell me, you do not have the right to work. I don't understand. With the documents given to me in Italy, I went to Germany, and here I was told, no, you don't have the right to work, you must go back to Italy. I thought that Europe was united, and that with the papers given in Italy, I could work anywhere.
The German government is changing the legal framework for migrants. It will be a bit easier to enter the German labour market. We asked a migrant's legal advisor what the impact of those changes would be.
Up to now, asylum seekers have had to wait 1 year for a work permit. This was cut down to 9 months, then 3 months, which is good. But asylum seekers and also people with an exceptional leave to remain for humanitarian reasons should be able to provide for themselves. It's complete nonsense to push people onto social benefits by keeping them out of the labour market. However, the easing of work permit schemes doesn't apply to persons with an exceptional leave to remain for humanitarian reasons. They're still not allowed to work. For refugees, it is like a lottery. In some European countries, they can build up a new future. In some others, they're just stranded in a kind of no man's land.
Moussa still has his jacket from Lampedusa. We join him where he and his friends lived for more than a year in an improvised refugee camp. Building wooden huts gave them a taste for carpentry. Several hundred so-called illegals squatted here. Few remained hopeful. The five friends met Sebastian, an architect, who encouraged them to learn how to create furniture. His idea was for them to base their furniture on the self-build style of famous Italian designer Enzo Mari. Out of his concept, Kukula was born.
It was about a year ago when I met the lads. They lived together in a single room, mattresses on the floor. Over 3 weeks we worked like crazy. I had to slow them down. Refugees don't need furniture somehow. Just imagine yourself in this situation. You never know where you'll be in 2 months' time. Being a refugee, you need a job, you need some real work.
The aim was to set up a refugees' crafts and design company. Getting financing was the big challenge. Just before Christmas, Kukula launched a crowdfunding campaign through social networks with the ambitious target of getting the startup capital they needed in just a few weeks.
They left Italy because they had no prospects there. The sword of Damocles hangs over us. There's always the threat of deportation. We want to offer refugees 5 places for professional training. Through the crowdfunding campaign, we try to collect €70,000. We want the refugees to get scholarships so they can show the authorities that they can provide for themselves. And hopefully get a residence permit.
In the end, the Kukula campaign got much more than it needed and the project was launched. The homeless Kukula migrants found shelter in this youth centre. So far, the 5 have muddled through by mixing Hausa and Bambara with German, Italian and French. Now they have time to learn German properly.
It's difficult for us to live like this, always on the road.
We've been in Europe for roughly 3 years now. We don't have the right to work. We are not free.
The stories of these young Africans are just 5 out of many thousands. Do they have a future in Berlin? The Kukula project gives them hope, but the future is far from certain and deportation remains a possibility.